Okay, hello everybody. This is week 11 tutorial 10 recordings. We have 6 tutorial questions today, and we will go through them one by one. Question 1. Import, export, and the trade balance. The following table shows the approximate value of exports and imports from Australia from 1997 to 2001. So in year 2000, Australian ran a trade. So let's look at the table. So in year 2000, export is 119.6, import is 118.3. So value of export is bigger than value of import. So we have trade surplus of 119.6 minus 118.3, 1.3 billion. Which of the following statement is correct? Of the years listed, Australia ran its largest trade deficit in 1997. So this is incorrect because in 1998 the trade deficit is even bigger. Australia ran a trade deficit in 1999. Okay, in this year the export is 97.2, import is $110.1 billion. So it is true. It is a deficit. Exports increase each year from 1997 to 2001. That's incorrect because from 97 to 98 the export decreased. Australia ran consistent trade surplus from 1997 to 2001. Again, this is incorrect because they are trade deficit in 97, 98. Alright, so that's question 1. Question 2. Computing the real exchange rate. Consider a basket of consumer goods that cost $72 in Australia. The same basket cost 224 pesos in Mexico. Nominal exchange rate is 14 pesos per dollar. Real exchange rate between Australian and the Mexican basket of goods is. So real exchange rate is equal to nominal exchange rate, so which is 14 times domestic price, so which is 72, divided by foreign price 224, so which is 4.5. Now imagine the nominal exchange rate increases from 14 pesos per dollar to 28. If the price of the basket remain unchanged in both Australia and Mexico, so the domestic price and foreign price does not change, the real exchange rate between Australian and the Mexican baskets of goods will increase, raise to $9, or 9 baskets of Mexican goods per basket of Australian goods. Okay, this is question 2. Question 3. Purchasing power parity. In May 2006, the price of Big Mac in Australia was $3.25, and using data from the Economist's Big Mac Index for May 2006, the following table shows the local currency of a Big Mac in several countries and the actual exchange rate. Okay, so we are told this data table. Okay, purchasing power parity theory states that exchange rates should equalize the price of goods in any two countries. So the PPP exchange rate will be equal to domestic price over foreign price. Okay, for the dollar price of a Big Mac to be the same in both countries, an Australian citizen will need to be able to convert $3.25 into exactly 1.94 British pounds So to find the exchange rate is quite easy. Domestic price over foreign price. That's 1.68 per Australian dollar per British pound. Okay, in May 2006, the dollar price of Big Mac in Argentina was the dollar price. So look at the tables. In Argentina, the local price for Big Mac is 7 pesos, and one pesos can exchange for 0.43 Australian dollars. So the Australian price would be 7 times 0.43, so which is 3.01. So which is less than 3.25, the price in Australia. So it's less than the dollar price of Big Mac in Australia. What exchange rate would have equalized the dollar price of a Big Mac in Australia and Argentina? So to get this, so it's domestic price 3.25 divided by foreign price, so it's 7. So it's 0.46. Okay, if exchange rates had been adjusted to bring about Big Mac PVP between the dollar and the peso, the value of peso would have. So at the moment, the actual exchange rate is 0.43 per peso. The PPP exchange rate would say it is 0.46. So peso need to appreciate against the dollar, or this is the same as saying Australian dollar need to depreciate against the peso. Okay, that's question 3. Question 4. While the aggregate demand curve slopes downwards. Okay, so the graph below shows the aggregate demand curve in the hypothetical economy where the currency is dollar. At point A, the price level is 120. The quantity of output demanded is $500 billion. Moving up along the aggregate demand curve from point A to point B, the price level rises to 140 and the quantity of output demanded falls to $300 billion. Okay, we assume that the economy's money supply is fixed, but money demand can change, right? Okay, as the aggregate price level rises, the cost of borrowing money will. So the price goes up, money demand increase. You need to hold more money to deal with the day-to-day transactions. So money demand shift to the right-hand side. So in the money market, on the one hand, the money supply is fixed. On the other hand, money demand shift to the right. So the interest rate goes up. Interest rate goes up means the cost of borrowing increases. And since cost of investment increases, I will decreases. Output demand will decline. This is known as interest rate effect. Additionally, the aggregate price level rises. The impact on the domestic interest rate will cause the real value of dollar to appreciate, to increase in the foreign exchange market. So now Australian interest rate goes up, so investing in Australia become more attractive. So people will sell US dollar, buy Australian dollar. Demand for Australian dollar goes up. Australian dollar value of Australian dollar goes up. Australian dollar appreciate. The number of domestic product purchased by foreigner, because there's a real appreciation. So domestic goods, Australian goods become more expensive relatively. So export will decline, and number of foreign goods purchased by domestic consumer and firms import will rise. domestic Australian goods become relatively more expensive. This is the same as saying foreign goods become relatively cheaper now. So the imports will increase. And this means the export decrease, causing the quantity of domestic output demanded to decline. This is known as the exchange rate effect. Okay, let's question 4. Question 5. The slope and the position of the long run aggregate supply curve. Imagine RBA doubles the growth rate of the quantity of money and the economy. In the long run, the increase in the money growth will change which of the following? Note that in the long run, money is neutral. So when RBA double the growth rate of money supply, it's going to be fully reflected on the price level or the inflation rate. So the inflation rate will double. Imagine that the economy produces real GDP of $30 billion when unemployment is at its natural rate. Use the purple point to plot the economy. The economy's long-run aggregate supply, so it's vertical. So it's vertical at $30 billion. 30. Look at this. It does not depend on inflation or price level. Imagine the government passes a law that reduces unemployment benefits in a way that causes unemployed workers to seek out new jobs more quickly. The policy will cause the natural rate of unemployment to fall, for sure, because people will try to find a new job. The unemployed workers will try to find a new job more quickly now. So this means that in the economy we have more people who are commit to the productions who are committed to the producing goods and services that shift the long-run supply curve, aggregate supply curve to the right. In the table, determine how each event affects the position of the long-run aggregate supply curve. An investment tax credit increases the rate at which firms acquire machinery and equipment. So now physical capital goes up. So let's shift this long-run aggregate supply curve to the right. Many workers leave to pursue more lucrative careers in foreign economies. So now the number of workers in the domestic economy drops. So shift the long-run aggregate supply curve to the left. This economy's primary source of foreign oil decides to cease export for political reason. So that's going to shift the long-run aggregate supply curve to the left as well, because we have less resources now. Okay, that's question 4. Question 6. While the aggregate supply curve slopes upward in the short run. Okay, in the short run, the quantity of output that firms supply can deviate from the natural rate of output if the actual inflation rate in the economy deviates from the expected inflation rate. Several theories explain how this may happen. First one, according to the new sticky price theory, the output prices of some services are to change in the overall rate. Okay. Imagine firms announce the price for their products in advance based on an expected inflation rate of 5%. Many of the firms sell their goods to catalogs and face high costs of repeat. The actual rate is before 7%. Faced with high menu costs, the firms that rely on catalog sales choose not to adjust their prices. So sales from catalog will increase because now the compared with other prices of other goods and services. Goods and services demand will increase, sale will increase. And firms that rely on catalogs will respond by increasing the quantity of output they supply. If enough firms face high costs of adjusting prices, the unexpected increase in the inflation rate causes the quantity output supply to rise above the natural rate of output in the short run. Imagine the economy's short-run aggregate supply curve is given by this equation. So quantity output, aggregate supply is equal to natural level plus alpha times the supplies in the inflation rate. Actual inflation rate minus expected inflation rate. Alright, and we are told that alpha is $10 billion per percentage point, and the natural rate of output is $50 billion, and the people's expectation is 5%. So we need to graph the long run aggregate supply curve and short run aggregate supply curve, and the long run output is at its natural rate, so which is 50 billion. Okay, so if the inflation rate is at 3%, it's 50 billion, 4%, 50 billion, 5%, still 50 billion, 6%, still 50 billion, 7%, 50 billion. Okay. For the short run, if it is 3%, so let's look at the equation. If it is 3%, 3 minus 5, so that's negative 5, and negative 2. Negative 2 times $10 billion, so it's $20 billion. So the actual quantity of output supplied would be 50 minus 20, so it's 30. Okay. If it is 5%, suppose, actual inflation rate, so now output will be, aggregate supply will be 50. Actually, so that's the short run aggregate supply curve. Okay, the short run quantity of output supplied by firms will fall below the natural rate of output when the actual inflation rate is less than, falls below the inflation rate that people expected. Okay, that's all about tutorial 10.